Liv Morgan is back, returning tonight on Monday Night Raw, and she caught dirty Dominik Mysterio in the act. Well, yes, look at the background. Finn Balor's reaction. This is exactly what Finn has wanted. Finn is the one who recruited Roxanne. We saw them backstage talking for weeks, and now Roxanne is in the middle, basically, of Liv and Dom. And the second that there's any kind of friction between Liv and Dom, Finn's reaction is joy. It's happiness. He's mocking them. This is exactly what Finn wants. Oh boy. Well, Liv tonight would mock Io Sky and Kairi Sane, saying about their group being dead. Wonder if we could get a little tag team title match out of this, maybe? Well, tonight it did lead to a singles match as Liv would take on Kairi Sane, with Kairi picking up the big win tonight. No help from Io. What happened was even more interesting. Roxanne Perez would get involved, pushed Kairi Sane off the top rope, helped Liv Morgan. An argument between Raquel and Roxanne would happen, distracting Liv, and Roxanne was all like, well, I just tried to help you. Roxanne coming across as the good one in this situation, trying to maybe push the blame onto Raquel. And it does seem to have actually worked, as Liv Morgan blamed Raquel in a segment which half the audio is missing, let's not lie, but it was blatantly obvious, as Liv said that Raquel is the veteran out there, she should have known better, while Finn just smirked throughout again. Finn Balor has orchestrated this entire thing, and we may be seeing the implosion of the Judgment Day because of it. Seth Rollins' group would kick off Monday Night Raw, and yes, the entirety of them, with Big Bronson Reed joining the fold. And yes, they didn't just ignore the fact that Bronson feuded with Seth. Paul Heyman indicating that Bronson did more damage to Seth Rollins than Roman Reigns ever has, than CM Punk ever did, than Roman and Punk did combined. Claiming that Seth is a visionary and therefore knew the importance of Bronson Reed to bring him into this group to secure the future of wrestling. Some bold claims as well by Paul Heyman, something I feel like a lot of us have wanted. Bron Breakker could be the main event star of WrestleMania 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. And that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. As for Seth Rollins, well, he called the fans hypocrites. Why? Because he come out, they sung his theme song, then they booed him when he got on the mic. He blames CM Punk and Sami Zayn for not being the World Heavyweight Champion right now, but he says he's got his sights set on the Money in the Bank briefcase, because then he can control the fate of the World Championship titles. A good opening segment, but I've got to be honest, I do feel like this group needs a name. I just don't know what the hell it could be. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. AAA star Vikingo was in the audience for the first match of Raw tonight, and what a match that was, huh? As Chad Gable took on Penta and Dragon Lee in a triple threat match for a Money in the Bank qualification spot. It would be Penta who picked up the win overall, pinning Chad Gable. It is, though, a minor miracle that Chad Gable walked out of the ring tonight, dropped right on his head from, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, his version of it was like a pile driver. That's what he kind of took, but he landed right on the top of his head. Chad would get into it with Vikingo during the match. It would then be Vikingo that actually kicked Gable in the head to cost Gable the match, and that would bust Chad Gable open. This was not Chad Gable's night. He should have sent out El Grande Americano. Talking of it not being someone's night, though, Akira Tozawa got absolutely squashed by Rusev. This is all this match needed to be fair. Rusev obliterating Tozawa in minutes and then turning his attention to an emerging Sheamus. We spoke about this recently on a news video, that there were plans for Rusev versus Sheamus, and we did this feud to obviously get to this point. That's okay. This match is going to be a banger, let's not lie, it will be. These two know each other so well, so I'm sure both of them will give it 100%. Very excited to see when that happens. Sheamus coming out tonight with a Liverpool Football Club jacket. Obviously, the tragedy that's happened in Liverpool today. I'm sure many of you have seen it on the news, on social media. Absolutely awful. Nice little touch there by Sheamus. I don't have a clue who these guys are. I'm sure they've been on WWE programming before. I think I recognise the guy who takes his shirt off, but that's it. That's literally what I know him for. On a WWE show, they had a backstage segment. They were then in the audience as well. I just found it ironic that there's a push Karrion Kross sign in the background here as they promote their Netflix shows. That's it, isn't it? But they were ringside for a triple threat tag team match as the New Day defended the tag belts against the War Raiders and the Creed brothers. I liked this match. I thought it was a pretty decent triple threat tag. But of course, the story here was the Creed brothers and the New Day worked together. The New Day suckered the Creed brothers in for most of this match to ultimately betray them at the end as Xavier Woods took advantage of Julius Creed, grabbed the tights, and the New Day would retain the tag team championships. By the way, Kofi Kingston's pure shock at the fact the New Day retained the tag belts was absolutely brilliant. Love that. The tag match is official for Money in the Bank. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso will take on John Cena and Logan Paul. But Jey Uso tonight may have got a little bit of a dose of reality. As the World Heavyweight Champion came to the ring to talk about said tag match, he was interrupted very quickly by Gunther and reminded that 48 hours after that tag match, Jey Uso has to take on Gunther. To be honest, I feel like I've seen this promo half a dozen times this year already, and it really wasn't a good promo for Jey Uso, just being honest. Really came across as maybe like he forgot his lines or something. I'll be honest, I don't think this segment achieved anything tonight. That's just my personal opinion. I think this was already done multiple times, and I feel like the only big thing to talk about here is, okay, so is the world title match being after Money in the Bank an opportunity for someone to cash in? To book it so close together, it could be. Promotion tonight for What Do You Want to Talk About? The new Cody Rhodes podcast, in which his first guest will be his wife, Brandy. A video package for Rhea Ripley tonight as she says that she knows that Mummy's not been on top recently, but when she wins Money in the Bank, she's going to come for either Tiffany or Io's World Championships. Titus O'Neil was in the audience tonight at Raw. Always fun to see him. Another match announced for Money in the Bank as Lyra Valkyria will defend the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. Lyra with a great promo tonight talking about how this is now personal with Becky. At one point, she called Becky a rat with a piece of cheese. That's an insult. When a ticked off Becky Lynch would emerge, and Becky Lynch added a little bit of a stipulation for their match. If Becky loses, she'll never challenge for the Women's IC title against Lyra again. But if she wins, Lyra has to raise her hand. I think this has got to be a Becky win here, hasn't it? Becky wins this and then you do Becky Bayley at Evolution. That makes sense to me. Once again in the background tonight, we'd see Grayson Waller with the New Day. This is the second time now. What is going on there? I've got honestly no idea, but be interesting to see. But no, your eyes don't deceive you. Karrion Kross was on Raw in a backstage segment still, but he's there. And obviously a face-to-face with Sami Zayn, mocking the fact that Sami should have taken the deal, should have gone to SmackDown, should have fought for the world title, saying that Sami will never be world champion. Just before Sami's Money in the Bank qualification match, adding a little bit of doubt into Sami's mind. And with Sami saying, I'll deal with you later, hopefully that's an indication we're going to get Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, and actually get Karrion put into the ring for once. I do wonder though, is Scarlett on a ladder? Could that be an indication that Kross or even Scarlett could get into the Money in the Bank ladder matches? Hopefully. AJ Styles laid out Chad Gable in the back, but what I found most interesting was a tweet by WWE as they said, he's got that killer instinct about AJ knocking out Chad. Obviously a reference there to Karrion Kross, formerly known as Killer Kross, who wanted AJ to get that instinct back and be the old AJ Styles. Well, he assaulted someone backstage tonight, and WWE using the phrase killer instinct. Is that a sign that Karrion changed AJ? Seth Rollins would win tonight's main event, beating Finn Balor and Sami Zayn. Seth has qualified and will now be in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed would screw Sami Zayn out of this match, though Sami had it won. They pulled him out of the ring. Jey would get involved, but Dirty Dom's involvement. He slid the chair in, but it would cost him, as Finn Balor would actually take the curb stomp on the chair, and that would allow Seth to pick up the win. After the match, as the heavies were sent to deal with CM Punk as his theme music hit, it would be CM Punk hit and run with a go to sleep to Seth Rollins. And before Braun and Bronson could get back in the ring, Punk was gone. Punk standing tall tonight. One last thing to mention is WWE have spoiled a match in AAA as they advertised Vikingo and Chad Gable for the AAA Mega Championship. The current champion is Alberto Del Rio, who will soon defend the belt against Vikingo. So, looks like Vikingo is winning that match. I think we all thought that, right? It was an okay Raw. I did feel like there was a bit of stuff that just wasted time tonight, not going to lie. For me, a very solid 7.5 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video, share the video. Really does help the channel out when you do that. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace!